Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. This is going to be video 3 of 3 in the series, looking at Destruction Warlock in Midnight Alpha, giving feedback on that. If you guys missed, the Demonology video came out, I think, yesterday after the class tree, the day before, but today we're going to be focusing on Destruction. Now, I want to drive home. This is early alpha. This is basically day 5. We have a lot of time, a lot of changes are going to come. There's even a couple of talents in the Destro tree that aren't implemented yet, which they've already spoiled. So we'll hit on all that today and give early initial thoughts on Destro. I am playing Demo now, but we'll change that. Shameless plug here as well. We are less than 5,000 subs away from 100,000 on YouTube, which is insane. I don't know how we're even that close to 100K, but it's been a dream of mine for a long time. If you guys aren't subbed, would consider doing so. It would mean the absolute world to me. If we trying to hit it before the end of the year, but regardless, we'll get there, and I appreciate y'all. Okay, so I am currently level 90. I'm in the raid for raid testing, which gives you max talents and stuff. And I think the best way to go about this is to just sort of like talk through a single target tree, and then sort of like build an AoE tree once we get through the single target one. Now we'll hit on a handful of feedback points. Some are going to be UI based, some are going to be rotational, some are going to be talent stuff, and just try and build upon that. Now, as far as the new hero talents are concerned, there are none implemented for any of the lock hero talents. Diabolist, Hellcaller, and Soul Harvester all have these 3 nodes here that are not in game yet, so that is that. Thankfully, the spec tree and the hero talents are, or the apex talents. So apex talents basically summon a Echo of Sargeras, like a Titan death being. They spawn in passively whenever you cast Incinerate. There's a buff that you maintain here, basically, with a pretty high uptime. And then the final beam or talent here is whenever you cast Chaos Bolt or Rain of Fire, you can also summon in beams at half power, basically. It's really cool. Visually pretty sick. It's all passive, but pretty cool. Now, as far as raw talents and feedback are concerned, Destro hasn't really changed a whole lot rotationally. I don't know how to open this. There we go. Destro has not changed a whole lot rotationally since, honestly, the last few expansions. If you played Destro since Battle for Azeroth or whatever, it's the same thing. Immolate, Incinerate, Conflagrate, Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire. There are talents like Dimensional Rift are still around, Soulfire, Channel Demon Fire, and those things, but the core of Destro has not really changed. But there are some new tools we're going to look at right now, getting into talents. So at the top here, we have Conflagrate, same thing. You have Backdraft, Rain of Fire here. This is going to be at your selected location versus at your target. Most use a macro for an at-cursor macro. Either way, nothing really changed here. However, when we get down into the third row here, Improve Conflagrate and Roaring Blaze. So these actually were a shared node. You could choose between the two, sort of similar to Crushing Chaos and Random Chaos, currently in War Within and things, but in Midnight they've been split. So you basically have 3 charges of Conflagrate baseline. That actually feels pretty good. Looking back in, I think, Legion and Nighthold, we had a tier set which gave you 3 stacks of Conflagrate baseline. That felt great. I've always wanted to play with this talent, but Roaring Blaze, you know, current retail WoW has been better. Thankfully, we get both now. Roaring Blaze is also over here, which gives you an increase to Conflagrate damage, but the bonus to fire-based spells is gone. Now it says Conflagrate now erupts the target's Immolate, spreading up to 3 nearby enemies. Now this is very similar to Affliction, where Affliction has like Boomkin's Twin Moon effect, where whenever you apply an agony to a mob, it applies a second agony to a surrounding mob near it, basically spreading agonies easier. It says 1 additional agony. This says 3 nearby enemies, so you can spread Immolate or Wither, I guess, more of them whenever you Conflagrate. It makes it easier to maintain your Immolates and your Withers in AoE, in, you know, M+ and things. Even in single target, once you put up your Immolate, it never falls, because you're Conflagrating just normally, right? It's actually a weird change to the rotation, but I don't mind it. It's worth pointing out, I'll get to this in a little bit too, but Channel Demon Fire has had the extension clause removed. It's been put down here. It looks to be pretty bad. The extension clause on Wither Immolate has been removed whenever you channel it, so this is going to be your way to maintain it. Cataclysm is still here, so you can spread it by casting a Kata, but I do want to say that when it comes to logic for this, for example, let's put up a couple Immolates. I'll Conflagrate here on 1, so it's spread to these 2 here, and it reapplied to this. Realistically, it should have just applied to this, and this, and not like refresh this Immolate. So I'm going to wait a second or 2 here. I'm going to Conflagrate and watch these durations here. So we're going to Conflagrate, It didn't, yeah, so it applied to this and refreshed the highest duration immolate target, and did not refresh the one that was about to fall off. So similar to Agony, and like the shared Agony Twin Moon talent for Affliction, there really isn't any logic built into this. Like that actually worked in a way where it should normally work, but if I conflict right here, it's not even refreshing on my main target, it's refreshing these two. So there needs to be logic built into it to, I guess more or less like prioritize spreading immolates / withers, and or then refreshing on the lowest duration mobs around the mob you're conflict rating, because it ends up being really weird where like I should be able to maintain my immolates or withers easily by its conflict rating, but I actually have to watch which one's falling because there's not much logic built into this. So big point there. Similar to Affliction, need to bake some logic into Roaring Blaze and Shared Agony, and that will help a good bit. Now moving down here, we have Havoc and Mayhem here. Havoc's baseline duration is 15 seconds. Rolling Havoc is gone. However, we have improved Havoc, which increases Havoc's duration by an additional 5 seconds and gives 10% more damage. So Havoc can last 20 seconds and give on a 30-second cooldown, which is pretty crazy. Destro's like 2-target Havoc cleave is very, very strong in Midnight. Very, very cool, fun to play with. Unfortunately, improved Havoc doesn't affect Mayhem anyway, besides increasing the damage that Mayhem does to like your other target when it procs. I wouldn't mind seeing like a minor duration increase added to Mayhem, maybe up from like 5 to 7, maybe 7.5 when you take improved Havoc, because it does feel like it benefits Havoc itself a lot more than Mayhem. I love the 20-second duration, half-minute cooldown on Havoc. It makes Destro like really good at that 2-target like spread cleave again, like it used to be back in the day. It's been good in recent terms, or in recent raids, but still that's cool. But it feels like Mayhem has been maybe a little bit left behind. Without rolling Havoc here and the ability to high roll Mayhem, it feels like it might not be as good comparatively to what it's doing for Havoc. So bit of a feedback point there. See where that goes. EP is the same. Scalding Flames is the same here. There's 2 nodes here for like modifiers. You just you take them if you need to. Backlash is 2 points. I believe the crit strike chance increase is 2 on retail. It is 4 now because you have 2 points here. You have Summoner's Embrace, Sacrifice. You have Asher Remains over here. I think Ashen's 4 on retail at rank 1 out of 1, but it's 6 here. I could be wrong. But either way, these are 2 talent points here. Also worth mentioning that Destro's tree on retail currently has 42 talent points max that you can put in this part of the tree, not including Apex talents, obviously, on retail. But when you look at Alpha, once again, not including Apex talents, you have 44 options. So you've actually gained the ability to put 2 more raw talent points into abilities, which is probably not very good. We might need to look at that and pull some of that back a little bit, depending on pathing and things, but we'll get to that in a little bit here. But worth mentioning, it's actually harder to fill in Destro's tree based on that compared to retail. So heading down from here, we have Minari Erudition, just a modifier basically. You have Entropy and Internal Combustion, which combustion's still around for some reason, don't really know why, but hey, it's there. Fire and Brimstone, Flashpoint, Infernal, and Cataclysm, they are all the same, still nothing changed. When it comes to Infernal's modifier row here, Crushing Chaos and Reign of Chaos also are the same. I really want to see Shadowburn. I wanted to see Shadowburn added to Crushing Chaos. However, they're changing Shadowburn in an upcoming PTR build, or alpha build they mentioned. I was looking for it earlier, I can't find the notes, but it's no big deal. Basically, from what I understand, they're making Shadowburn have no cooldown, and it's going to only be available to be hit or pressed on a target below 20% health. So that world where you're running around hitting Shadowburn and movement or whatever is gone. Now, I actually like that. We need more mobility with Destro, 100%. I like the weird Shadowburn play, sort of them getting rid of it. I don't think Shadowburn was in a place where they wanted it to be for like War Within. I like how we had a button we could hit on the move, but I doubt they wanted us just hitting Shadowburn on cooldown from 100 to 0 in the first second patch, the expansion. And this patch is sort of weird. We're playing it for movement, but I can only hit it when I don't have a demonic art proc and I'm playing Diabolus. It's just a pain, right? So the new version, I believe, is basically no cooldown. I might be wrong here. If I am, I'll put it down in the comment section. But no cooldown. I think 1 shard cost, but you can only hit it below 20% health. However, I think this is still here, same modifier, I believe. But this Fiendish Cruelty is changing to, I forgot what spell procs it, but you're going to have a chance for Shadowburn to be castable on a target above 20% health, basically at any point. And I believe it doesn't cost any resources and hits about the same as a Chaos Bolt, which actually sounds pretty cool. I don't mind that. A bit of RNG mixed in, but it feels like, oh, cool. This is lit up, big damage, hit it. That sounds pretty cool. And you still have the, below 20% execute clause from Shadowburn round 2, which is very cool. So there's that, and that row is probably going to change a bit. Maybe next build, we'll see. We'll give feedback on that when it comes around. Yeah, but moving on from there, so probably not needing to add Shadowburn to Crash and Chaos anymore, but, it still does affect Chaos Bolt and Rain of Fire all the same. You have Chaotic Inferno over here, which used to be, I think this was in Torghast, I'm pretty sure, as a power back in the day. You do get some random free incinerates, sort of cool, nice, all that. Ember Storm is here, and then over here we have Lake of Fire, which is the next feedback point. It comes out of Cataclysm, and actually does a good bit of damage. It has your Immolate or Wither do more damage to enemies within the Lake of Fire, and honestly, even in single target, it does a decent amount of damage. The actual effect that's on the ground, but thing is, it's an effect on the ground, and if you've all played with, certain tanks or things, they don't like holding mobs in effects on the ground. And on top of that, it is sort of hard to see. So we'll cast Cataclysm here. That's Cata. This is basically Lake of Fire. It's like the red effect fades and the ground is cracked for the duration of Lake of Fire. This debuff fades, so will the lake. There it goes. I would like a new visual effect for this. I think like a red, like a DK's Defile, but like a red Defile with like a big lake of literally bubbling fire, like molten lava. That'd be super cool. That'd be really, really sick. It would help tanks see the visual effect more. And realistically, I mean, it is a ground effect on a half-minute cooldown. It's sort of similar to Firestorm for Evokers, but they can get resets of it. We can't. It's still really cool, and it's good. And when you can get value out of it, we'll see where it goes long-term. Whether it's good in single target or good in AoE, both, neither, I don't know. A new visual effect would be cool. Maybe there's some way to get a random reset on this every once in a while, like Firestorm, possibly. Not sure. But the points here, it's hard to see, and it's a ground-placed effect with basically one charge every half a minute. That is pretty impactful, but tanks need to be aware of that. And honestly, that ends up being a little hit or miss, depending on what you're doing. So, but I think cool in theory. So we'll see where that goes. Moving on from there, we talked about the Shadowburn row a bit already here. So you have Ruin, which is a 2-point node, as well as Conflagration of Chaos being put here as a 2-point node. And you also have Destructive Rapidity here, which increases how often Rain of Fire does damage. It doesn't reduce the duration of Rain of Fire. It also makes Immolation from your Infernal do more damage. It does not reduce the raw duration of Rain of Fire, how long it ticks. My current Rain of Fire is 6.7 seconds. If I talent into this, it's the same duration. It just occurs more often, more frequently during the Rain of Fire. It's very similar to Creeping Death for Affliction, which is, I like that talent a good bit. This, in conjunction with Alithus's Ire, does make some scenarios feel similar to like the old Inferno days of Destro, where you have a lot of Rain of Fire that's coming down, a free Rain of Fire every so often, and it's doing a lot of damage. That plus just, the general profile you have, it does feel pretty strong in AoE. It does feed a lot into Destro's just general strong AoE profile, but I like that a good bit. I don't know if these all need to be 2-point talent nodes, because we have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then a lot of weird capstones that we want access to. We're spending a lot of points in these nodes here, and it just sort of makes things awkward. So I wouldn't mind seeing, like, I don't know, we can just make these 1-point nodes possibly. It might take a bit of like repathing, retracing, like 1, 1, 1, but when you get to the bottom of the tree here, things get a little, I wouldn't say convoluted, but maybe sort of convoluted. So let's backtrack a bit out of here, and we'll build like what looks like a single target build heading into the bottom part, right? So let's take some of these out. Basically, I need to spend 1 more point here, so this unlocks this. I have 10 points to spend going down into the bottom of this tree. Now, I know I'm spending 2, basically, in Ruin, if I want to unlock, Dimensional Rift and or Soulfire, which I'll probably do. At the same time, you can just go through Shadowburn and get down here, which might end up being play long-term. But if Shadowburn in this row ends up being, like, worthwhile. It's going to be even more awkward because you're spending points trying to get down here, and you're going to want Ruin as well. But let's say I'm building a single target row, so I want to go into Ruin. I'm going to want 2 points of Conflagration of Chaos, and then we head down into Improved Chaos Bolt, which probably should just be baseline, but is what it is. I'm going to want Embers here. Realistically, you're going to probably want Chaos Incarnate, and you're going to want Mark of Ruverard, which primary demon does more damage, a Shadow Flame, and Mastery benefits the pet, basically. A lot of passives down here, like as far as the capstones go. I mean, realistically, like, yeah, I mean, Ruin's cool. I mean, it's like an old throwback iconic spell from like classic days, but I don't really get to feel or see Ruin. It just sort of happens. Conflagration of Chaos, same thing. Just sort of happens. Improved Chaos Bolt, probably just be baseline. Doesn't need to be a talent. Just make it baseline. It's passive. It's passive. It's passive. They're all just like passive nodes that do increase my bolt damage and my spells damage, but they all just feel sort of like, they're there. And we still have just baseline Destro as the spec we're playing. Mark of Ruverard, we can just make this like a permanent Doomguard or something, right? Make it like permanent Infernal, permanent Doomguard. I don't know. I want to have like some thematics in my capstones a bit too, right? And I think capstones are where like the issues sort of lie in Destro's tree. So let's keep filling this out. We basically have 2 points left, and you can hop into like Dimensional Rift or Soulfire and eventually Avatar, which does fill out mostly like most of the single target-esque part of your tree, unless you want to backtrack through Shadowburn. That's a whole different story in itself. We'll see where that lands next week. But a lot of passive nodes in here, which I think like these are probably fine. I wouldn't mind them at 1 point nodes maybe, but like I think this should be baseline. Just reduce Chaos Bolt's cast time and increase the damage as like a base spell. You can remove this, or maybe like remove this, bump this up here or this up here, and give us a different capstone, you know. This is like, I mean, I'm never going to see my primary demon doing damage, Shadow Flame. I don't feel it or anything. Same with this. I don't really feel it. It's just there. It's cool seeing bolts hit hard, but I can just see part of the baseline profile. I mean, realistically, Embers is like fun to play with, but it's been part of the baseline kit for so long, it's sort of passive too. It makes things feel better. You can like sort of feel it if you versus like not playing with Embers. But still, I wouldn't mind seeing some new blood down here, if that makes sense, right? The AoE section has it, but single target doesn't really. So this is where we're going to hit on capstones a bit here. Avatar Destruction, currently on retail, is sitting right here. You path from Ritual into something else. I forgot whatever it does, but it does. Like, I think it's less shards, and you go into Avatar Destruction. Every X amount of shards you spend, you get basically just a free Overlord, a Smolderon. Green Smolderon that spawns in, cast Chaos Bolts, very cool. That's where we had our Purple Infernals in Dragonflight. That was removed, but I think for the most part, Orc Beam feels pretty good. Passively, it just spawns in, does damage, and rolls out. That's pretty sick. Unfortunately, to get him to spawn in at this point, that's gone. You have to either now hit Soulfire or Dimensional Rift. And there's more to this. So Soulfire currently on retail has Decimation, which gives you the chance to randomly proc Decimation, which gives you a reset on Soulfire, a very short cast time reduction, makes like half a second, and you get the full Soulfire value. A shard, immolate reapplication, and damage dealt. It feels great. It's taken a very long time to get Soulfire into honestly a fun, enjoyable state to play, to hit the button. It feels good and rewarding when you get the proc. Besides that, I'm never casting a Soulfire outside of my opener when I'm pre-casting it. I don't want to hard cast a Soulfire being a 4-second cast. Like that's just not fun, really, right? It doesn't hit for very much right now either. It's 12k. Chaos Bolt hits for more than double that. The shards and the A make it out 12k. But to get my Overlord to spawn in, if I'm playing Soulfire, it's a 45-second cooldown, which will guarantee the Overlord spawning in. I just want to see my Overlord spawning in like it does currently with Ritual and all that stuff on retail. I would like a world where we just toss Avatar back over here and keep Ritual around. It's fine, it's fun, it's thematic, and yeah, people like it, right? And a world where we just bring Soulfire back to Decimation. Like, it finally feels good to hit with Decimation. Let's keep it around. And if we don't want to bring Decimation back, I think we just get rid of it. We fought the battle for so long of like Soulfire. We want it to be good and everything, and having it be in a form where it's really fun and enjoyable for like a whole expansion and to have it go back to where it was before, it doesn't feel good. If we don't have Decimation around, I think we just trim it. Just take it out of the tree. Is what it is. Yeah. Or if you want to play Dimensional Rift here in the choice node, hitting a Rift can also spawn in your Overlord. but the key word is can. It has to be specifically a chaos tear that spawns in your overlord. We have 3 rifts here: shadow, unstable, and chaos tear, and there's no sequencing to them or like bad luck protection. It's literally I can open 3 shadow tears, 3 chaos tears, 3 unstable tears. It's complete RNG. So at times, if I'm opening up and I open 3 rifts, I might spawn 3 overlords in. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Right, so I spawn 1 from there. Right, I spawn 1 chaos, 1 shadow, and 1 unstable. Right. Now the problem is, like, I can also just spawn 3 shadows or 3 chaos tears. If it's 3 chaos tears, we're getting 3 overlords. If we're getting 3 shadow tears, I'm getting 0. Technically, I haven't seen 3 overlords. I don't think there's any kind of like hidden, like you can't get 3 out at once rules in game, but there's too much RNG to it. And honestly, Rift has so much potential to be a really fun spell and a really cool talent. I think if it were me, what I would want to see, I think we put Overlord back to where it is. Avatar goes back over here with Ritual, all that. Leave that row where it's at. I don't know, you can put Conflagration somewhere else. You can even just put Conflagration here, leave it there, and put Overlord here, and put just like, hey, cast X amount of spell, spawns on Overlord, and it paths into it. It's fine. You can trim Soulfire if we don't have Decimation around. Just get rid of it. It is what it is. I don't want to cast a 5-second spell. It's boring. And make a whole section over here like based around dimensional rifts. Like make this dimensional rift, make this like flame rift, the one we had a while ago, and make this like lessons of space time. When you have rifts open, you do more damage, or make it like a chance to reset a rift when your immolate ticks, like our tier set did in Dragonflight, I think towards the end. That was super sick, and it feels thematic. I'm getting these chaos tears I can open up. They can be a flame tear that do more damage. We need to buff the damage of these regardless as well, and probably add the cleave element to them, because that cleave element is gone also with a little like side embers that cleave. Make it like flame rift, make it like random resets and stuff too, right? So you have like this chaotic, sometimes I'm spawning rift charges back that I can open to the nether and spawn more bolts. That's super cool and thematic, but like I don't think this works very well. I get what they're going for, and definitely I respect that, but I don't think it works very well. Soulfire, it's a lesser version. It just feels way worse to play with. Dimensional Rift doesn't have the cleave element to it. It doesn't hit very hard, and the RNG of it is just sort of awkward. And there's so much thematics with Rift we could build upon to make Rift fun and exciting to hit, right? And I don't think, I mean, Overlord is not the way to go. I think Overlord being passive is cool. That works well. I'll open 3 rifts again here. There's a shadow, there's a chaos, and there. Maybe they changed the logic of this, because I am opening 1, 2, 3. But I'm going to say, regardless, even if the logic has changed, I still don't think it flows very well. I'd much rather just see, once again, Overlord back over here, a whole Rift row, like thematics around Rift, and Soulfire Decimation somewhere, or just get rid of Soulfire, honestly. Because like it's like not very fun in this form. Heading over here, I guess we already hit on a lot of the AoE talents, so we'll just look at like that in general. Let me see if I have a build here for it. Oh, I gotta wait an hour on rifts. Okay, whatever. So like if I'm looking at AoE stuff here, I'm pathing through. See if I can pull points out of here maybe. Let's try and build like an AoE tree. I'll just build it really fast because we're sort of running out of time, and I don't want to wait a year for this to come off cooldown. So let's say we're building a tree in AoE. I feel like a lot of Warlock specs sort of suffer from this, and it's, why can't I grab this? There we go. And it's the issue of having a lot of AoE talents and not enough talents to like fully fill in things. So like let's say we're starting in Conflict Rate, Backdraft, some version of Rain of Fire, you're grabbing Improved Conflict Rate and Roaring Blaze. You're going to want, if you're in Mythic Plus, Mayhem or Havoc, whatever you're looking at, going Scalding, and at this point you can spend in Improved Havoc or whatever you want up here, no big deal, right? We're unlocking this. Oh, you're also going to want Backlash, so I guess you're going in here. I lied. Sorry. There you go. So you're going to grab, you're going to end up grabbing, let's see here. You'll probably want Backlash. Maybe there's a world where you don't, but depending on pathing here. But either way, we'll see where that goes. You're going to grab Embrace. You're going to grab Ashen to get down here. You're going to fill in Infernal, obviously. Cataclysm. I think you're going to want Lake, even with its weird, like, whatever. We'll grab Entropy. We'll grab Crashing or Rain. Either one's fine. You're going to want one of these to get down into Emberstorm here. It's likely Fire Emblem, or, well, it's one of these two, depending on what you're doing, what hero talent you're playing. Going into Emberstorm, grabbing this too. And then we need to spend either a point. We need to spend 2 more points up here. So the question is, what do you want? I'm grabbing likely just 2 points on Backlash. Maybe Inferno, but probably not. It's like just Backlash or a weird point and like Flashpoint somewhere else. At the same time, that puts you in a spot of like, oh, well, I unlock my capstones, but I also want Minari Irradiation. So maybe you pull out a Fire and Brimstone and head over here to grab this, but I can't because I gotta grab Flashpoint. So maybe there's a world where you just say, well, we're not playing Minari Irradiation, even though I'm playing Fire and Brimstone. Maybe we just play Flashpoint instead. But either way, that's worth figuring out at a later point in time. I think the issue sort of lies when you get down here. So when it comes to AoE talents, I'm definitely going. Oh, you also got a path through here to get Ruin. So when I get down here, I definitely want my AoE talents. I want Rapidity, so I'm going 2 points here. I want Embers. I want Fire. I'm going to want Conflagration of Chaos, likely, because it opens up other talents here, and it's just good in general. But the question now is, like, am I going into Ruin here? I'm probably grabbing Chaos Incarnate. I want my reduced bolt cast time. I sort of want to go into, like, Irradiation, but I also want to go into Chaotic Inferno. That unlocks Ruin, but I only have 2 points left. And I can't really get any of, like, the single target-esque modifiers, I guess. I suppose I'm getting, like, improved Chaos Bolt. I guess theoretically Embers and Incarnate, but I'm left with a choice of, like, do I want Ruin? Like, I think I want Ruin, but I also want Chaotic Inferno, or I also want Irradiation, and I only have 1 point to go down here. Can I pull from Flashpoint? I can't, because of pathing. Can I pull from Ember Storm? I guess theoretically I can, but that seems pretty awkward. I guess I could technically, but it's a cast time reduction. I don't really want to do that. It just sort of feels like these 2 point nodes here are a bit too restrictive. I could pull from like Conflagration of Chaos to hop into Ruin, and that's sort of a thing, but you're in the same world of like, well, okay, do I want to go into like, once again, Inferno, or do I want to put a point in Conflagration of Chaos over here? And at the same time, like, this is all revolving around the fact that we're not even playing CDF or Demon Fire Mastery. I'd assume a far right capstone should be relevant in AoE. So if we're assuming we want to play CDF and Demon Fire Mastery, which are probably way undertuned right now, and have no extension modifier on them from the current retail, whenever you cast CDF, it extends your Withers, it immolates, that's gone. If you're looking to play that, I mean, I don't, the pathing here is just hard to get to with all these 2 point nodes, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can pull a point from up here somewhere, like maybe Ember Storm, but like, I'm just grabbing an improved Chaos Bolt. I'm missing out on things like Conflagration of Chaos, Mark of Rugalard, all the talents over here. It just feels like I think they want me to invest into CDF, into Demon Fire Mastery and such, but it's undertuned and just not a very good capstone without the extension clause of Immolate and Wither. Having that clause baked into like Demon Fire Mastery does feel capstone worthy. If you made it extend Immolates and Withers and all that, I know that you have Roaring Waves up here, and that helps a bunch too, don't get me wrong. It might be a little redundant, but I think if you want CDF, this is grotesquely undertuned. If you want CDF and Demon Fire Mastery to be like worthwhile and a talent that I take in AoE, it's got to have more relevance. It's got to have the extension clause on it. Maybe we can cast this on the move. Maybe we can just, maybe it does a lot more damage. I'm not really sure, but at this point, I'm probably not playing this, and it feels like I should be. And then it puts me in an odd spot of what I want over here. It just feels like the capstones are just need a rework. I think these 2 point nodes are too restrictive. Like, you're basically spending 6 points if you want all 3 of these coming down here. And I have 4 points to spend between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 abilities, right? That's not even including if you're playing Shadowburn and Plus, which some might, depending where it's tuned. So I think the capstones need to be looked at again, probably. I would love a Rift-only talent, building upon that with like Flame Rift, with resets. CDF probably shouldn't, if it's in this form, it is not capstone worthy. It needs like extension clause on it, a damage buff, and honestly, it might even need more, like being able to cast and move. That'd be interesting because we're very stationary now with the loss of Shadowburn. At the same time, I think Rapidity and Ire are good. Gotta see where that goes long term. Incarnate's like whatever. This should probably be baseline. We can just make it baseline and free up a talent down here to use somewhere else. And the 2 point nodes, like in Ruin, Conflagration of Chaos, and even Rapidity, even though I like it, just feel a bit restrictive. Like, I want to grab more talents. I should be able to grab like probably all this and this in AoE, and like most of this stuff in this in single target, but I just can't. My hands are sort of like tied behind my back because I have too many points. I need to invest in the points in this tree, and not enough available. This current tree, like we said, has 44 talent points able to be spent in it. The one on retail currently has 42, and the 44 here is not including these 3 nodes. We've actually gained 2 more talent points in this tree right here that we can spend, which is essentially a bit of a loss, a bit of a negative. So That's the big thing. I mean, capstones need a lot of help, honestly. I think this part of the tree needs help for the most part. Up here seems fine, honest, for the most part. A couple little things, some pathing stuff, minor stuff here and there, but I think the big part with Destro, the big issue sort of lies in this area. Oh, also, one more thing I forgot to mention. I'm having to re-record this part of the video or record this later on. I really hope that we're waiting on the cooldown manager to see what's added and what's not. All that, right? I'd assume we can track Havoc and things in a better manner. Nameplates will be improved. One thing that AF and Demo don't have to worry about, that Destro does, is partial shard fragments. Demo and AF, just generate them. No big deal. Destruction has partial shard fragments. In a UI like this, it's not like terribly hard to see what I'm at. Like, but I mean, like I'm at 3 now, obviously, right? But when I cast Incinerate here, that looks like 0.4. That's like 0.7, right? I think it's 0.7. And I conflict rate, that's like 4.2, 0.3. I want some way to either edit or have an add-on that some way to display a numerical value on partial shard fragments. When I'm doing a raid boss and looking down at my shard fragments coming in, I can't sit here and try and calculate how high this little colored diamond is. Like, where am I at? 1 point or 3.2 there, or 3.4? Am I at 3.6 or 7? Like, I just need to see like a 3.6, 3.8. 3.7, a numerical value on the partial shards. Is it hard to do? Not necessarily, but like that's like baseline info that we need to see somehow. That shouldn't be hidden anywhere, shouldn't be, whatever. And there might be add-ons that can look at this in game and just skin what this partial value is. There very well might be. I'm not sure. Maybe they're developed at some point. I really want some kind of numerical value on my shards to see where they are. Maybe Blizz can do it baseline UI wise or not. AF and Demo, don't got to worry about it. They only have full shards. Destro has partial shards. And when I'm in the middle of a bunch of Rain of Fires or Chaos Bowls, I can't look down and say, what is that? Is that 0.8? Is that 1.7? I can't tell. So please, some way to tell where my exact partial shard fragment count is would be awesome. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed the video. I might have rambled a bit too long in this video, but I really wanted to emphasize on like Destro's capstones, just some general pathing stuff, and try and get Destro's capstones in a fun and engaging manner. You have the baseline part of Destro still. Immolate, Incinerate, Conflict Rate, Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, but there's more we can build upon. And honestly, Destro wasn't really pruned at all in Midnight. I think it goes to show that it's been a pretty simple build or spend or spec for a while. But thematically, there's a lot more potential without really many major changes. A couple of tweaks here and there, bring some old stuff back, and we have a juiced version of Destro. So I'm hoping things go. We'll see what happens in the long run. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. If you guys want any weak auras or add-ons or profiles or anything, weak auras, funny mention. Anything that is available at some point, whatever, it's up here as well as down below. They still work on retail. Links up here as well as down below. And also a huge thank you to all my Patreon supporters. We're all supported on there, guys. Thank you all so much. Like always, I greatly appreciate it. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, there should be a link up here as well as down below in the video description. I assume we're getting a new alpha build this week. I think this video is coming out on the day of the patch for retail and remix. I don't know what I'm doing today on stream, but probably something as long as servers are up early. So come on by. And I'd assume maybe tomorrow or the next day, new alpha build. So we'll see where it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you again soon on stream. Peace.